So you're doing everything that you think you're supposed to, right? You're eating right, you're doing cardio, you're maybe even eating healthier than you used to eat. You're trying, right? But your body is fighting against you. And you can actively feel it, right? Most of the women we work with actively feel their body fighting against them. And it's not your fault. There's typically three main things that people are doing that really make it almost impossible to push your body across the edge so you can start seeing results. Number one, the biggest mistake people think is, I'm just gonna start to do cardio. I'm gonna start to move more. I'm gonna start to really push myself to go for runs, go to try a HIIT class, start pushing myself in that way. And if your cortisol is raised, if you're already in a fight or flight state, you're holding on to a lot of inflammation and you're just feeling exhausted and something's not right, overdoing it like that, just adding in some cardio is only gonna stress your body out more. And it tends to actually make people gain weight in instances where they want to lose it. So really the first step that we work on with our clients is slowing down and getting your body in a stable position so that it feels comfortable to start to lose weight. Yes, cardio and burning calories are really important and can be a really great tool, but for the most part, if you're starting there, you're gonna show up and your body is not gonna move the way you want it to. The second main piece that I hear all the time is, I started eating healthy, right? I'm making better choices. I'm picking things, some veggies here, some fruits there. I'm eating generally healthy. The problem there is eating healthy is still eating randomly, right? And if you're not eating towards a specific goal, it's very, very hard to make sure that you're gonna lose weight, build muscle, right? I see it all the time. You could be eating well, but if your body's in starvation some days, and then you're eating in excess other days, and you have no plan or process to get from point A to point B, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So the first thing we try to do is we start to stabilize your eating. If your body knows or can predict how many calories it can get per day, we can start to speed up your metabolism and get things rocking and rolling a little bit smoother, right? Your thyroid, your TSH, those help to control your metabolism. And if you're eating one day 400, 300 calories, one day 3,000 calories, and they're all healthy calories, your body still looks at them the same, right? Your body still is confused, inflamed, and pissed off. And so it's gonna continue to hold on, especially if you do this for a prolonged period of time. Another one we hear around the eating is fasting. If you practice intermittent fasting or prolonged fasting of any time, that's gonna increase your cortisol just as much as fasted cardio and HIIT cardio will, and your body will start to hold on because it wants to make sure we're gonna live. So the biggest thing that I see is number one, adding excess cardio when we don't need it. And number two is gonna be aligned with the healthy eating, right? We need a prescription for our eating. We need to understand if our goal is to lose 20 pounds, we need to understand what kind of phased approach do we need to take with our eating, our calories, our protein to get to where we wanna get to, right? And the third biggest thing that should not come as a surprise is understanding where you're at. If you get in your car and you go to drive 30 miles from here to where you need to go, but you don't know how much gas is left in the tank, you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. You need to understand, do I have enough gas to get from point A to point B? Your body is no different. And when I say data, I'm not specifically talking about macronutrients and counting calories. I'm talking about your body in general. Very seldomly does someone come into the program and have full blood work done by their doctors to understand where they're at. Very rarely do they understand their basal metabolic rate or how many calories they're burning on a daily basis. Very rarely do they understand what kind of a deficit they need their body to be in to get it to move. Very rarely they have any understanding of what their workouts or lifts or cardio looks like for the last 6+ months. Usually they're flinging stuff at the wall and hoping something sticks, and guess what? Even if something sticks, they don't know which variable sticks. So inevitably it leads them to think that they need to do everything and they burn out. How many times have you been in this cycle where you push, you think you have to do everything all at once, and then all of a sudden you burn out and you gain all the weight back? Or God forbid, we start on a supplement, a peptide or something to help us move our body along, and then all of a sudden, boom, we come off of that and we don't have any healthy habits in place to actually continue the progress. We're seeing this more and more and more. And so if you don't have the data, if you don't understand where your body performs its best and how you need to fuel it to perform its best, you will not continue to see results like you will if you know what's going on deeper inside the body and how to perform. For example, I had a client who came in, we were kicking butt, she was doing awesome, we lost 30 pounds in the first couple months, and then all of a sudden, we started to slowly slip. Her habits started to slip, she started to fall backwards, she started to go back to intuitive eating, she started to go back to cardio over weight, she started to go back to things that were her common thoughts of what worked in the past, right? And all of a sudden, we noticed she started to gain some weight. Her body started to hold on to inflammation. She started to feel a little bit more tired. Her sleep started to suck, right? And so we started to realize that we needed to look back what we were doing a couple months ago from our journaling, our logs, our understanding, and mimic those actions to replicate those results. And that made something click in her head that, oh wow, if I know what I'm doing to be successful, I can mimic those actions later on. Obviously, as you age and your body changes and your hormone changes, you're gonna need different phases in your life. But if you can get a good understanding of what moves your body in this moment, odds are you can mimic it later on to get similar results. I'm not talking fasting, I'm not talking extreme, I'm not talking killing yourself working out 7 days a week. I'm talking about sustainable habits that are realistically built for your life. I would never give her something that worked for another client. I would never give her a macronutrient breakdown that somebody else needed, right? Everybody's body's a little bit different. And that's why when a lot of people reach out to us, I have to say, I don't know. I don't know what you need until we have a conversation and I can actually understand, look at what data points we have and give you a step-by-step plan based off where you're at, right? So again, the biggest 3 mistakes I see are, number 1, just adding in excess movement, adding in excess cardio, spiking your cortisol even more, and having your body hold on. Number 2 is eating healthy, whatever that means, eating intuitively, being smarter with our choices. It takes more than just being smarter, it takes understanding where we're at and where we want to be. And number 3 is not having the proper data and understanding of what does it take for my body to actually see movement day over day. Creating it into a simple step-by-step process is going to be easy because there's so much noise out there, we tend to overcomplicate it. So if you can sit down and understand, what do I need to do? What do I need to eat? And how can I stay repetitive with it to a point of fault, to a point of it gets boring, to the point of it feels like brushing your teeth, it feels like a habit, right? That is where you see the most success, because it's not about what you want to do, it's not about the motivation, it's about building a lifestyle around the habits that are actually going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. Now, this doesn't mean you're going about things wrong, right? You're doing what you think you need to do. But if you're like so many others who are feeling stuck, who are feeling exhausted, who know something is wrong and their body's not moving the way it used to, it may be time to understand what's going on inside your body and have a strategy specifically built for where you're at and your goals. The accountability is huge, the ideas, the meal plans, all of the stuff is great, but without the strategy, none of that matters. Without the data, none of that matters. If your cortisol is high, your estradiol tanks, and your pituitary is not releasing hormones correctly or signals correctly to release hormones, there's a bigger, deeper problem that we're not addressing. And so we can put a Band-Aid over an open wound, but at some point you're gonna need to heal the wound on its own. And so if you're curious about getting that deep, in-depth support and understanding how to fix this for the long term rather than putting that Band-Aid on that gash, go ahead, click the link in my bio and fill out the little form in there to give us some more background as to what's going on. We'll reach out and see if we can help. But either way, start practicing journaling how you're feeling on a daily basis, tracking your bio data, getting the blood work that you need to, understanding not just what feels good to eat, but what do I need to eat in order to see the results I want to see, and how do I push my body in a proactive way and not a detrimental way. Whatever reason you're on your journey you're on, I'm proud of you. Keep kicking butt. The reason you're here is because you care and you want to see the changes. So keep looking, keep pushing, and if you need help, we're always here.